So let's kind of go about last week. I mean, obviously, running game was a little bit better last week. I mean, what do you kind of attribute that to? And Cole was just telling us he felt like the game plan was really good last week. So how do you kind of keep that rolling this week?
Yeah, I thought there was some good things that we did against Alabama, and being able to run the football like we did was something that was, I think, building confidence in our guys. Right? Obviously, there's always things that we got to clean up. Coach Friend, Coach Schmidt, Coach Hughes, Coach Knox is our quality control, helping out in the run game stuff. I mean, the guys do a great job of really putting the game plan together all together. And so there were some things that we were pleased with, but obviously, right, we got to get better.
We'll obviously struggle a little bit with the interceptions and everything. Had the big game against South Carolina. What did you see in the Alabama game that really caused them to struggle?
Yeah, crucial mistake right in the 2 minute into the half turnover there. And learning from those situations and making sure that we're not making those same mistakes twice, and really understanding the flow of the game there. And then on the other interception that we had, there was miscommunication, right, on a little bit of a protection breakdown, but at the end of the day, Will is very conscious of knowing that we've got to protect the football, and you can't win games like that turning the football over. We've got to continue to stress ball security and and put our guys in those situations where they can protect the football and they've got nice clean throws.
You mentioned the interception there right before the half. Looking back on that, is that a situation where moving forward you would feel comfortable trying to have the foot on the pedal again, or do you think that would be somewhere where maybe go a bit more conservative?
Yeah, there was like a minute 3 left, and we had used our timeouts to try to get us an opportunity, and I think in games like that, you got to be as aggressive as you can. And so sure, can you look back and go, well, we could have ran the ball there and then gone to halftime. That wasn't the type of game that we needed to play to beat Alabama. We needed to be aggressive, so I'd do it again, and hopefully we wouldn't turn the ball over again.
What are you seeing right now out of this offensive line? It seems it's been obviously they've a lot of returning guys, but it's a new system for them. So, have you seen some of them coming along at this point?
I do. That's a good question. I see us gaining confidence. I really do. We had the South Carolina week where these guys were really good in protection and our play action stuff, and giving us plenty of time pushing the ball downfield, not only in play action but in 6-man protection. And then this week run game wise, I felt like they had a confidence level that they can run the football on anybody. So now what we've got to be able to do is make sure that we combine those, right? And we get our passing game and our run game all meshed up together where we're all clicking as one full, diverse, multiple unit.
Speaking of combining things, you're using a good bit of 4 wides at times, then you come in with a true tight end, Antonio at tight end. You're just kind of using all sorts of receiver combinations out there, calling on air raid stuff and then classic run game stuff. Is that just more confidence team can do these things as the season goes on?
Yeah, it's really about the personnel that you got and the schemes that we're trying to get executed. And, you might go into a 10 personnel group because this guy's a little bit better route runner, or you might be in 11 personnel because, this guy's a better blocker on the perimeter. Now, the key is you got to make sure that you're mixing enough of that and quality controlling yourself so that defensive guys, don't know every time you put this guy in, you're throwing or running. But we're trying to incorporate, Creed as much as we can in some of the 10 personnel stuff. And then, Harmon's done a good job and has created some plays, not only as a tight end, but, as a receiver catching the ball in the flat. So, for us, it's really about, what we have available that week and what gives us, the best chance to, just move the ball forward.
We talked last week about Woody and some injury aspects in another instance on Saturday. How is that, I guess, now that it's becoming a bit of a trend, I guess, affect you as a play caller, maybe changing things up to help him be healthy throughout the rest of the year?
Yeah. Woody is a really important piece to this offense. And, like we talked about last week, I mean, Woody's the toughest dude that I know. With that being said, I thought Pitt, played really well against Alabama. And, it gives, I've got confidence in all of our guys, and, it gives guys other opportunities. But, Woody, he's going to be, he's tough kid, man. He's going to battle, and he'll be there. But, you know, we've got 7 games in the regular season remaining, and we got to make sure that Woody is an important piece of that.
You mentioned Pitt kind of coming along there. You know, obviously it's a little bit of transition for him coming from junior college, but where have you seen him progress just throughout the first, few weeks of the season?
Yeah, I thought he's progressed, you know, tremendously from spring ball on. You know, and it's a lot of offense, and there's a lot of different schemes, but you know, Pitt is a guy that, man, he's a gamer, you know, and when he gets his opportunity on Saturday nights, he makes plays, and you know, it's never too big for him. The JUCO to SEC transition, that matters none to Pitt, right? He is hey, if you give him an opportunity and give him the ball, been really pleased with the success that he's had.
You mentioned 7 games left. Is there any thought now, given how the season's going, that maybe you can find some time for some of the true freshmen to get their 4 games in or less like that, and some guys that maybe need snaps before you see them in spring ball?
Yeah, you know, that's a great question too. Those conversations are ongoing, and you know, hopefully we're in a situation where some young guys are able to play and get some valuable snaps in.
Will was talking about, you know, the way he's been able to bounce ideas off Mike Wright and kind of talk to him on the sidelines. How have you seen Mike kind of embrace his role so far, and kind of, you know, the patience he has? Obviously, he's a guy, you know, that probably like to see the field a bit more as well.
Yeah, you know, those two, they've got a great relationship, and they're very supportive. And I think it's really important when guys have been in that starting role and they understand the support that you need from, you know, the others in the room. You know, Mike, obviously, he's had some great success in the opportunities that he's had, and, you know, we'll continue to grow his package as well.
You know, with the bodies available, what you have, you're just kind of putting things together out there. Were you satisfied in general with how the 2-4 system worked when you had to use it, and then mixing and matching after that?
I don't know if you're ever satisfied. You come away, you lose a game like that. I mean, but obviously one thing I'll give our guys credit is I thought they went in there and they battled. But no, I mean, are we satisfied? No, we're not satisfied by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, the results aren't what we want no matter who we put on the field.
I asked Coach Arnett about this afternoon. You kind of at the midway point of the season, and you got some injuries up front, and you know some guys you're not getting back. How difficult is that decision? I noticed Caleb and Gabe dressed out Saturday. How difficult is that decision to, do we redshirt them, do we not? I mean, it kind of get to that point. How tough is that call?
Yeah, I think there's always those ongoing conversations. I think right now we're trying to find value in anybody we can that we feel like can physically do it, number one, and then mentally has the mental toughness to go in there and battle. I mean, to me, Don Terry Russell's a great example of that. He goes out there and he does things that you look at him at 215, 220 pounds, you know, and we asked him to do some things, and he held up pretty well, you know. And so it's just finding guys like that, what value can they bring, and then put them in the best possible situation.
What have you thought of the way Don Terry's kind of approached the time he's been at State and finally kind of took advantage of that opportunity he had on Saturday?
I think he's grown. You know, I think he's grown. I think it's been an up and down process for him, but hopefully what he did there the other night, you know, I know we gained confidence in him. Hopefully he continually gains confidence in himself and how he prepares and doing the things right on a consistent basis so that he can go out there and make more plays like he did the other night.
Is it easy to use him kind of as an example for some of those younger guys that, you know, eventually their opportunity will come?
I think it's pretty easy for those guys to see it, you know, on the field. He gets an opportunity, he goes out, he makes plays. All of a sudden, he shows flashes that he can go get the job done and execute on a big stage. And obviously, if you do that, you're going to get more playing time. And so, to me, that's just a perfect example of utilizing your opportunity.
How did you grade John Lewis for his play the other night?
He did well. I mean, those are things. The thing about John is John's going to play extremely hard. John's always going to play hard. John's got to make sure he's going the right direction all the time, you know. But again, finding value in what John Lewis does is, you know, what you're going to get from an effort standpoint every single time. And now it's just cleaning up the fundamentals and the other things that you have to do to make yourself successful.
Last 3 weeks, incompletions have kind of been hard to come by. When you break down the film, what do you see in coverage that's enabling these teams to be as successful?
Mm-hmm. No, it's a valid question. I think there's different breakdowns. Sometimes it's the guy not making a play on a ball. Sometimes it's a schematic breakdown. Sometimes it's pass rush not getting there. I mean, it's all 3 levels to me, as well as coaching, obviously, too. So we've got to look at, all right, how are we getting attacked? How can we adjust the coverages we play to better suit what people are doing to us?
When you asked Jed about this too, you put those 4 linebackers on the field. How important is it, or how much of a communication role was increased with Buki and Jed?
I think we put a lot on those guys anyways in communication. I don't know that it was a huge difference, to be quite honest with you. Those guys are, they've been around forever. They understand the system on the front and the second and third levels. And so it really was just a continuation on what we already asked them to do.
Watching Nathan this year, it just seems like he just raised his game this whole season playing there at the nose position.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and he needs to continue for us to be successful because of the previous question, But no, he's definitely played tougher. He's played more physical inside, and we need to continue to have that from him.